secret relationships tear families apart, while one woman at its center hides a sin she cannot atone for. One morning in Oregon, Sylvia wakes John early, dismissing him after their intimate night. Seeing that she's not interested in speaking to him, he leaves. While getting into a car later, Sylvia notices a stranger watching her. She dismisses this and gets into the vehicle with her friend Laura. When they drive off, the stranger follows them. Soon, the ladies go to work at a fine dining restaurant, which the man takes note of before driving away. As the day starts, Sylvia checks the kitchen where John is apparently one of the chefs. She ignores him before heading to the floor to tend to their patrons, catching the attention of a businessman dining there. Later, she takes her break by the shore where she uses a rock to harm herself. Sylvia then heads to the nearby cliff and watches the raging waters below curiously. After deciding not to entertain these thoughts further, Sylvia returns to the restaurant, but the businessman from earlier asks her out. Soon, the stranger follows Sylvia back to her home, accompanied by the customer whom she spends intimate time with. The day after, Sylvia goes to the restaurant and learns that a senator plans to have lunch there today. This stresses her, so she quickly tells her head chef to prepare. John approaches her in private, asking who she was with last night. Sylvia just reminds him that he's not supposed to ask such questions before focusing on their tasks. After closing time, the businessman from yesterday arrives to pick up Sylvia. Before she can go to his car, John catches up to her, criticizing her for sleeping around. The woman remarks that he can only say such things after he leaves his wife. Despite this, John follows them to an empty road. This leads to the men arguing, unaware that the stranger is nearby. Ultimately, her date decides to call it quits, so Sylvia is forced to walk home, refusing John's offer to drive her there. As she goes, she passes by the stranger, but he doesn't speak English, and she can't understand Spanish. Still, he's able to offer to drive her home, and the woman accepts. While in the car, the man introduces himself as Carlos, and when Sylvia shares her name, he becomes curious. Upon reaching her apartment, Sylvia invites Carlos inside. She tries to seduce him with no hesitation, and to her surprise, the man refuses and leaves. In New Mexico, Santiago takes his younger brother Cristobal to a burned trailer in the middle of nowhere. He recounts that this is where their father and the woman he was cheating with died. The scorned son wonders what his father was thinking when he burned alive. At home, he finds his mother Anna drinking with her sister and a friend. He points out that they're drinking his father's whiskey, but Anna jokes that he won't be drinking it anymore. The next day, Anna refuses to attend their father's funeral, so the brothers go there on their own. After the funeral, the family of the woman their father was with confronts them. The father, Robert, yells that he wishes the man burns in hell, blaming him for his wife's death. The brothers ignore this, although Santiago takes notice of the man's eldest daughter, Mariana. Before all this, Gina met up with her lover Nick, who drove her to a trailer he borrowed. This reveals that Nick was Santiago's father and Gina was Robert's wife. On the day of Gina's funeral, Santiago follows her family to their home. He waits there until Mariana steps out alone. He follows her to the store where he approaches her, assuring her that he doesn't want to argue about their families. Instead, Santiago wants to learn more about Gina, hoping to understand what made her and his father choose each other over their families. Weeks before this, Robert returned home a day earlier than Gina expected. Because of this, she made up errands to head out alone later, but her husband insisted on going with her. As their family got in the car, Gina claimed that she had forgotten her wallet, so she went back to the house. However, Mariana also returned to use the bathroom and overheard her mother telling someone, "I love you," on the phone. At the supermarket, Gina gave the grocery list to Mariana, then asked her husband for the car keys to pick up fabric from another store. Suspicious, her eldest daughter watched her hurry to the car and drive off. After meeting up with Nick, Gina returned to the supermarket late, claiming that the store didn't have her order ready. As they packed up, Mariana ignored her mother as she already knew she was lying. After her mother's death, Mariana thinks of this day as she secretly meets with Santiago to talk about their parents. When she sees him hit a bird with a slingshot, Mariana tries it too, and is surprised when she succeeds. While cooking their prey, the young man shares that he learned how to hunt from his dad, prompting his companion to ask if he loved the man. Santiago says yes, and Mariana claims she loved her mother too, but she didn't actually like her. When their meal is done, Santiago is surprised when Mariana grabs it straight from the fire, as if she doesn't feel the burn. Years later, Santiago, who's now a crop duster pilot, flies his plane to spray pesticides over a farm while his daughter Maria makes food at the nearby shed. Suddenly, she sees the plane crash into the field, so Maria rushes out. Santiago is soon taken to the hospital while a worried worried Maria watches the doctors tend to him. However, when the man wakes up, he asks to speak to his friend instead. Santiago's friend, who turned out to be Carlos, then drove Maria to her home weeks before meeting with Sylvia. Santiago asked him to take his daughter to her mother, but Maria didn't want to go to the woman since she'd never met her. Despite this, Maria had no choice but to leave town with Carlos. They booked a motel room in Oregon where Maria asked about her mother. Carlos revealed that she was already gone when he met Santiago, but his friend searched for her for a long time, thinking that it was his fault that she left. Hearing this, the girl asserted that she didn't want to meet her mother, but her father insisted on it. Years ago, Gina surprised Nick by cleaning up their secret trailer, though she complained about not having hot water there. When he touched her, she stopped his hands from going to her chest, explaining that she didn't like that part of her body. She revealed that she had cancer 2 years ago. Despite this, Nick kissed her, assuring her that he didn't mind her scars. When Gina got home that night, Mariana told her that her younger brother had to get stitches after getting wounded. Mariana added that he wouldn't stop crying earlier since he wanted his mother, making Gina feel guilty for not being with her kids. The next day, Gina bid her children goodbye as they went to school. Unbeknownst to her, Mariana decided to investigate, so she lied to her siblings that she forgot her homework to go back. She took her bicycle to follow her mother to the trailer where Nick had just set up gas tanks to provide hot water for his lover. Seeing her mother with another man broke Mariana's heart. In the present, Sylvia takes a walk after being rejected by Carlos, only to find that he's following her. She confronts him, so he reveals that he knows that she's Mariana. She denies this but stops when he mentions Santiago and shows her a picture of Maria, claiming that she's her daughter. Denying this, Sylvia tells him to stay away from her before walking off. Still, when she goes home later that night, she stares at the photo of the baby she left behind years ago, confirming that she actually is Mariana. She recalls sharing family photos with Santiago after their parents' death. When he asked to keep one of her photos, Mariana wanted him to give her a scar in return. She explained that the scar would help her remember this day, so Santiago asked for one too as he didn't want to forget her. That night, Mariana used a lighter to scar herself to commemorate their time together. When she placed fire on her arm for too long, Santiago got worried that she was hurting herself. Still, he used the same lighter to burn a scar on his arm. Afterward, Santiago dropped Mariana off at her home. Suddenly, he offered to stay in their house since her father wasn't around, promising not to touch her. The two then went to Robert's bedroom to hide from Mariana's siblings. Still driven to understand his late father's choices, Santiago asked Mariana to wear her mother's nightgown while he wore his father's shirt. The woman did so and joined him on the bed after changing clothes. Despite Santiago's promise not to touch her that night, the two ended up kissing. At present, a visibly distraught Mariana struggles to focus at the restaurant. She asks to talk to John privately and asks if he could ever love her. When he says yes, she invites him to elope together. However, John hesitates, much to her disappointment. When she heads home later, she finds Carlos waiting for her with Maria. Scared, Mariana turns away and leaves, disappointing them. She recalls the night she confirmed her mother's relationship. Gina returned home late, so she hurried to prepare dinner. Mariana questioned why she was late, so the mother lied and said that she went to a friend's house. However, Mariana revealed that she also visited that friend, and her mother wasn't there. Gina just dodged her questions and told her to help out. The next day, however, Gina became worried, wondering if her daughter knew. Guilt-ridden, she later met Nick at the supermarket to break up with him. The man refused to end things because he believed they were in love. However, the mother was guilty about how her relationship affected her children. Despite this, Nick told her that he'd wait for her in the trailer every day until she returned. To make up for her misgivings, Gina later surprised her family with a picnic. However, Mariana refused to join and just went out, claiming to go to a friend's house for a project. Instead, the daughter went to the trailer to explore the area where her mother had her secret moments. These memories make Mariana have a change of heart in the present. She goes to Laura and asks for help in finding Carlos and Maria. They check nearby motels to locate them, but to no avail. While taking a break, Laura asks what happened. So Mariana admits that she left her daughter 2 days after birth because she felt she didn't deserve her. Years ago, she surprised Santiago by introducing herself to his mother and aunt. After the women left, Mariana asked asked to see his parents' room, so Santiago took her there. Still not finding closure about their deceased parents, they shared their passion on Nick and Anna's bed, as if doing so would help them understand. Weeks before this, Gina and Robert made love, but the husband couldn't go through with it. This left his wife underwhelmed and conscious about herself. Days passed and Gina had second thoughts about her decision, as she found her life stagnant and passionless. Because of this, she ended up returning to Nick. Unbeknownst to her, Mariana followed her again and saw them together. After the two left, the scorned daughter wanted revenge, so she broke the trailer's gas pipe, plotting to scare them. At present, she and Laura finally find where Carlos is. Mariana demands to see her daughter, but the betrayed girl refuses to see her, so Carlos shuts the door on them. Not giving up, the two book a room close to theirs, hoping that Mariana will get a chance to talk to Maria. In the morning, however, Mariana discovers that they're packing up to leave. While Carlos is at the parking lot, the woman rushes to their room to talk to her daughter. She begs to speak to Maria, but Carlos returns and blocks her. Finally, the girl decides to give the woman a chance, so she asks Carlos to leave. Alone with her daughter, Mariana apologizes for running from her yesterday. She shares that she thought about her while she was away, complimenting her that she looks like her father. Just then, Maria tells her that Santiago's plane crashed, so he's in the hospital. After they talk, Maria goes to Carlos, who reminds her that Santiago requested that he brings Mariana with them to Mexico. Maria assures him that her mother will join them. Years ago, Cristobal discovered that Santiago was seeing Mariana. He told his brother to end their relationship, but the man went out with Mariana later that day anyway. When he returned home, he found Anna waiting for him as Cristobal had told her everything. She scolded him for seeing the daughter of his father's other woman, and all he could do was say sorry. One night, a rock crashed into the window at Robert's home. Attached to it was a letter revealing Mariana's relationship with Santiago. Because of this, Robert confronted his daughter, and when she didn't deny it, he hit her. The man then drove off, so Mariana called Santiago to warn him that her father was going after him. Tearfully, she begged her boyfriend to go and get her. At present, Mariana waits at the hospital to see Santiago. During this, she awkwardly catches up with Maria, though they end up sitting together in silence. The day after Mariana broke the gas pipe in the trailer, Gina and Nick met up again. Trusting her lover with her vulnerability, Gina admitted that she wanted to get surgery to cover up her scar. However, Nick assured her that he loved her scar since it was proof that she fought and won. As they kiss, Mariana set fire to their gas pipe with a smile. She expected that the fire would force the couple to exit and get caught red-handed. However, when the flames spread without the couple leaving, she became concerned and called out to her mother. Before she could take a step, however, the gas tank exploded, setting everything, including the couple inside, ablaze. Mariana could only cry as she realized what she'd done. At present, Mariana discovers that Santiago's leg is badly infected due to the crash, so the doctor thinks they have to amputate it. They then go to see the man, though he's sedated. Seeing the man she loved for the first time in years, Mariana stares at him silently. Soon, the doctor suggests they leave to let the patient rest, but Mariana asks to stay longer. Alone with him, Mariana sits with a sleeping man, hoping that he'll survive since she doesn't know how to raise Maria. She begs that she and their daughter need him, finally admitting that she's been scared all this time. She confesses that she caused the accident that killed Nick and Gina, and she's been haunted by that day ever since. On the night when Robert discovered his daughter's relationship, he stopped his car to mourn over what had happened to his family. Just then, Santiago passed by him, and the men could only look at each other before the younger one drove off. Mariana quickly got in Santiago's car and eloped with him that evening. After seeing Santiago in the hospital, Mariana spends the night at Maria's house. She notices the burn scar on her arm, noting that her father has the same one. Santiago told her that he got the scar so he wouldn't forget Mariana, so her mother admits that she did the same thing. The girl then asks if her mother will be staying, but Mariana isn't sure. This makes Maria assume that she'll leave them again, and the woman can't defend herself. Mariana goes to sleep in Santiago's room and sees that he kept the picture she gave him years ago. This brings her back to the day after they eloped. Mariana revealed that she was pregnant, but she didn't want it since she was scared. However, Santiago promised her that they could start a new life in Mexico together. Recalling this, Mariana speaks to Maria the following day. She finally admits that she left years ago because she was scared that her daughter would end up like her. She begs the girl for forgiveness, but Maria doesn't give her an answer yet. When they go to the hospital, they learn that Santiago no longer needs an amputation. This puts a smile on Maria's face, so she goes to see her father. Before she does, she invites Mariana to join her, as if finally accepting the woman as part of her family. As Mariana remembers all the secrets that tore their families apart throughout the years, she accepts her daughter's offer, hopeful that they will finally end the cycle.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.